I always like to sing one from the gospel which Sri Ramakrishna has sung himself.
Should we introduce you first? The live audience just came on.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to give them this. We want to make sure you're listening to Badur, one of our members, and we're really happy to have him here on this Saturday. Thank you so much, Badur, for blessing us with this wonderful bhajans. And we are here live at the Las Vegas Vedanta Center. Next time you can maybe join us here live, especially for Swami Atmavidyananda next Saturday. But for right now, we have Mr. Badur. Thank you, sir.
I always like to sing one from the gospel which Sri Ramakrishna has sung himself in Bengali. I will give the translation here. The Bengali is Shraddhananda Moyi Kali. Ever blissful Kali, enchantress of Mahakal, all by yourself you sing, you dance, and Ma you clap in your own delight. Primordial, eternal mother, from formless yet moon upon your brow, when the universe was not, whence came your garland of skulls? You alone are the player, we move as mere instruments. As you keep us, so we remain. As you speak through us, so we speak. Restless Kamala Kanta hurls sharp words at you. O world destroyer, sword in hand, you have swallowed both my virtue and my sin.
যেমন রাখো তেমনি থাকি মা, যেমন
बोले অশান্ত কমলাকান্ত দিয়ে বলে গালাগালি অশান্ত কমলাকান্ত দিয়ে বলে গালাগালি সর্বনাশী ধরে ওষি সর্বনাশী ধরে ওষি ধর্মাধর মুকুট খেলি সদানন্দ মই কালী মহাকালের মন মোহিনী সদানন্দ মই কালী I'll sing a popular one from contemporary times. This is Anup Jalota's most famous bhajan, Aisi Lagi Lagan. So this is glorifying Mirabai, who was a 16th century Indian princess who renounced royal life out of intense love and devotion for Lord Krishna, whom she regarded as her eternal beloved. She defied social norms, endured suffering, and lived a life of ecstatic devotion, singing in the streets, lost in divine love. Krishna here is addressed in many names: Mohan, Shyam, Govind, Hari, Gopal. The translation is, blessed are the eyes that behold Shyam. Blessed is the head that bows to the Lord's feet. The mouth that indulges in idle talk is of no use. The true mouth is one that chants the name of Hari. The hands are not beautified by diamonds and pearls. They are blessed when engaged in worship of the Lord. Immortal is the name of one who surrenders their life in God's love. Such was Mira's longing that she lost herself in divine ecstasy. From street to street she wandered, singing praises of Hari. Raised in palaces, she renounced all to become a mendicant. People began calling her Mad Queen Mira. No one could deter her, no one dared to intervene. She went on singing Govind and Gopal. The king gave her poison, but she drank it as if it were nectar. Like a river merging into the ocean, Mira merged into the divine. Though she endured immense suffering, the names of Govind Gopal ever remained on her lips. जो शाम का दर्शन किया करे है आँख वो जो शाम का दर्शन किया करे है शीश जो प्रभु चरण में वंदन किया करे बेकार वो मुख है जो रहे व्यर्थ बातों में मुख वो है जो हरि नाम का सुमिरन किया करे हीरे मोती से नहीं शोभा है हाथ की है हाथ जो भगवान का पूजन किया करे मरकर भी अमर नाम है उस जीव का जग में प्रभु प्रेम में बलिदान जो जीवन किया करे। ऐसी आगे ऐसी लागे लगन, ऐसी लागे लगन, लागे लागे लगन, लागे लागे लगन। ऐसी लागे लगन, मेरा होगे मगन, वो तो गई गई हरी गुन गाने लगी महलों में पली बन के जोगन चली। मीरा रानी दीवानी कहाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन। कोई रोके नहीं, कोई टोके नहीं, मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी। कोई रोके नहीं, कोई टोके नहीं, मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी। बैठी संतों के संग रंगी मोहन के रंग, मीरा प्रेमी प्रीतम को मनाने लगी। वो तो गली गली हरी गाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। वो तो गली गली हरी गाने लगी, महलों में पली बन के जोगन चली। मीरा रानी दीवानी गाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन। राणा ने विष दिया, मानो अमृत पिया। राणा ने विष दिया, मानो अमृत पिया। मीरा सागर में सरिता समाने लगी, दुख लाखों सहे मुख से गोविंद कहे। मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी, वो तो गली गली हरी गाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन, ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। Sorry, it's taking a minute. This one is just singing the praises of Lord Ram. Um, Glory to Ram, victory to King Ram. Um, I believe this song came out during the Ayodhya temple inauguration. He is the purifier of the fallen Sita Ram. He's Hanuman's master, Lord Ram. So basically singing glories of Sri Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. रघुकुल नंदन राजा राम, सियापति जय जय श्री राम. रघुकुल नंदन राजा राम, सियापति जय जय श्री राम. मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम, भव भय भंजक जय श्री राम. हनुमत स्वामी प्रभु श्री राम, पतित पावन सीताराम. राम राम जय राजा राम, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. मंगल कारक जय श्री राम, करुणा वत्सल जय जय राम. मंगल कारक जय श्री राम, करुणा वत्सल जय जय राम. मोक्ष प्रदायक जय श्री राम, पाप निवारक जय जय राम. परम ब्रह्म परमेश्वर राम, पतित पावन सीताराम. राम राम जय राजा राम, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram.
Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram. Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. After the talk, perhaps, is that okay? Oh, no, we needed to still.
Next time.
No, you can sing after me. We're
No,
just
next time, next time.
start talking, then we can have more singing.
That's okay.
And both of you can sing more.
Next time.
No, it's totally fine. Tease plenty of time. We're back in action, as you can see, back at the Vegas Vedanta Center. We're just getting started. We have some amazing things coming. Swami's music. We're so excited. All right, so we're so happy to be back in the Las Vegas Vedanta Center. As some of you guys know, I was gone for a month, and I know you guys did a really great job carrying on for us and doing artis and readings for the gospel and all that sort of thing. So thank you so much for everything carrying on. Definitely miss you. So we want to start with a chant, and then we'll go into a talk, and then we can do some more chanting later on. So, Om Sato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityarma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to mortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, when I was thinking about what kind of a topic would be most appropriate for our times and our climb, the idea of Vedanta in a world in crisis kind of seemed a natural fit for what's going on lately. So we thought we would use that. And what we really, when you look at Vedanta, what's the beauty of Vedanta is that it really is all-embracing. I did a talk for the Interfaith Council, and it was about, I don't know how I was the one who got chosen to ask to represent Hinduism amongst a very august panel of Christian, Jewish, Zoroastrian, all kinds of different religions, and somehow Thakur has some sense of humor. He puts me there to represent Hinduism, which I thought I was definitely not qualified to do. But what I really saw and I tried to express is that, and what really has intrigued me and kept me in this vein of study and worship for 54 years or 55 years, whatever it's been since I've been 17, is that it's all embracing. There's a space for everything. There isn't any part of human need, any part of human worship or expression or conception of divine that's not somehow included in Hinduism. And it's just amazing to me that, what the world really needs is a unification. It needs people to be brought together, not divided by so many different types of sects and things that are so against everything else. And, what I see today in this world is againstism. Not only are we for this, but we're against everything else. Or everything else is somehow inferior or horrible or going to take you to hell or something like this. And it's really gotten to a point where it's really become a very big tragedy in our world. And it's having horrible consequences. Bless you. Having horrible consequences in many ways. And so what I thought when Thakur, when you understand how this whole thing of Indian Vedanta and Vedas were, and how it was transferred into the West, it's a beautiful poetic thing that happened exactly at the right time when we needed it. Since the time that it was initiated into the West by Swami Vivekananda, we've had 2 world wars, a bunch of regional conflicts, but they basically were wars. We've had so many revolutions and civil wars and deaths and oppressions and tragedies. And, oh my golly. And now look what we're coming into. And so what was really Vedanta, the Vedas, was something so sacred and so ancient, the most ancient of essences in the West, in the East, in the world actually. As Swami Sarvapriyananda in his talks says very beautifully, he said it is the oldest continuous civilization in the world. And so it has passed down traditions that were more common in the ancient world than we have today. Many of those things were currency in some of the most ancient civilizations, and perhaps even before those civilizations. This was the essence of reality. It didn't need to be written down. It didn't need to have symbols because people themselves were living scriptures. In higher ages, people had this ability to be connected with their own inner being and understand these connected truths, and so it was a different reality completely. They say when mankind goes through these evolutionary cycles, and we go into the lower cycles, they lose, mankind as a whole, in most cases, not all, thank God, otherwise we wouldn't be here, right? There's some that remember their true natures, but for the most part, mankind loses all remembrance of anything finer, and they only see, taste, touch, and feel what is in front of their senses. They don't understand who they are, where they came from, where they're going. So they live in a constant state of fear and panic, and they lash out because of that, and they try to control things because of it, and other people, and create tribes to create strength and all these things. This is all animal nature because of the loss of the ability to be connected to their own inner selves, their own finer natures. And so India, because it was a time capsule of sorts, as Swami Sarvapriyananda points out, of all of the lost, deeper wisdom that was inherent in our world for so long. And it was actually even kept a secret in India. For a long time, India, only a very few pundits and enlightened beings, and maybe in the Himalayas, were aware of this secret, deepest essence of Advaita Vedanta and these things that were bringing everybody together. And so it was lost even in India, except for the few. But it was there still. And somehow in the great evolution and being and unfoldment of things, it was decided by a great higher power that this beautiful secret was going to be broadcast to the world and disseminated once more. And even India itself didn't appreciate the message of Vedanta because for the most part it was lost. India in the Raj was taken over by England, as you all know more than I do. And they actually lost faith in their own teachings, in their own brilliance, in their own genius. And they thought that they were backwards somehow. And it took Swami Vivekananda to come and, when he was told that he was initiated into things that he had to keep it secret, he said, no, I will never do that. I'll broadcast it to everyone. If I get a secret that I think is helpful for me, I'm going to tell everyone. I would never keep it secret. And that's exactly what he did. He took the most profound esoteric scriptures in India, and he took them to the West, and he talked about it freely with the intelligentsia in Harvard and all of these beautiful places in England, and talked to people who could understand and wanted to understand these finer teachings. And of course, it was way over the heads of the average person. But because it was appreciated by certain people in the West, all of a sudden, back in the East, what happened is they started to see their own wisdom, their own value, and their own beautiful genius. And it became a renaissance. And so that cultural exchange started. And it's just beginning, I think. I think most of these teachings are far ahead of their time right now, as you can see, far, far ahead of their time. So, what we have now is we have a, beautiful thing in Christianity. Christianity is such a beautiful, if you look at the essence of it, it's forgiveness and kindness and caring about the people who are suffering and people who are, coming in need and immigrants, these whole things. And the ancient world was to give your own robe to somebody who doesn't have it, walk a mile, let somebody slap you 10 times in your cheek, and the other cheek, and so on and so on. This was the essence of Christianity. What have we got now of Christianity? What is it representing now? And what is it influencing in the world? So what is needed is not just another ism, because there's nothing wrong with Christianity. It just needs to find itself, just like Hinduism needed to find itself. The essence of Christianity is what's needed. The essence of Judaism is what's needed. The essence of Islam is what's needed. And there are those people in those traditions that know it. There are beautiful saints in every tradition that know it. Every single one of them. I've met beautiful Sufi saints. I've met beautiful Judaism, beautiful rabbis and Talmud and all these beautiful esoteric teachings there. And Christian saints. There's so many. You can find Christian saints. Such beautiful beings. Of course, the mainstream church may not find them very much, but sometimes they incorporated them into their purpose and said, okay, he's one of our guys. But they were in universalists. So what we have now from the Vedas, the topic being the Vedas for a world in crisis, is that any expression or any conception of divinity is already kind of defined and put together in a path, step-by-step path in the Vedas. No matter what level, what kind of place you are in your own journey, in your own evolution. And as we realize that the basic way that some people are is that this is real. This is real. All this is very real. And so I need this, I need that, I'm afraid of this, and I'm afraid of that. That's the basic reality of, I would say, most of the world and people in the world right now. That won't be always the case, but right now that seems to be the truth. And so you have to start there. And so where is that? This is real, this is real, this is real, all this is real. So then why is there images? Why is there representations? Because of that type of need. Whether it's Christ, whether it's Krishna, whether it's Rama, whether it's Ramakrishna, whether it's some other, physical, corporal representation of divinity. And what happens is that now that person has the ability to believe in something greater than themselves and to listen to wisdom that might come through those channels so that something higher, something greater can start to be filtered into their being. And that is certainly part of Vedanta and the Vedas. There's a beautiful corpus of dualistic worship of all beings. And the good thing, and it's a little confusing to some from certain paths, but they say it doesn't matter what your Ishta is, what your image of God is. Whichever one is closest to your heart, use that. Some people said, "Oh, I can't understand God. It doesn't have any feeling." One of the masters would say, "Well, what about your mother? How did you feel about your own mother?" "Oh, I love my mother." Then use her as your Ishta because it opens your heart. Or my father, use him as your Ishta. Or my baby. They would go to that so that we connect on a visceral, basic level and start there, reality and real. This is something that has a profound meaning in the Vedas and the yoga tradition. The yoga tradition tells us that our spine is a part of our consciousness, is where our energy is and our focus and our spine. It shows largely where our consciousness is. And the bottom three energy centers, they're called chakras in yoga, are just the basic survival, procreation, and emotional needs and all the nonsense. This is where almost everybody is. This is where all the beings are. This is where we're all caught up in our desires, our fears, or all of our stuffs, our isms and crazyisms, and our own psychoses. And it's a wandering circle. And then you say, well, try to control your mind. How do you do that when all you see is all this It's an energy floating around. It's almost impossible. So what the gray beings understood, and it's integrated into this beautiful worship of devotion, is that once you get to the heart center, that is the door to completely changing your perception. It's completely a different baptism. We call it a second birth. It really is. When you get to the heart center, all of a sudden, all the connection and all the love and all that peace, all that light starts to shine, either in meditations or in your daily life, or it just pops out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, this beautiful feeling in the chest starts to feel connected to everything in the world. And you feel love and goodwill. And we're cut off from that heart center. That's what Swami Ramanandaji said in one of his books. So it can be, of course, it's in Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga. Once you get to the heart center, everything changes. And you have this beautiful opening of all the subtle things, all the finer things become real to you and more important. And peace and joy start overwhelming your being. And it becomes more tempting than temptation of all of these things that we think we want. And it becomes a battle for a while. Which one do you want more? Do you want all this stuff, go on more with all of the fights of life? Or do you want to listen to those experiences you've had of these beautiful feelings of peace and joy and connection and loneliness? And more, the battle wins. It's like the Gita describes the battle that's gone on between the two sides. It's a beautiful, very deep scripture that has many layers of meaning and understanding how this battle goes on. But sooner or later, we all have to come to the point where we just realize that our inner nature is everything we ever hoped for, and what we ever wanted is already inside of us. And that's what Swami says. He says, I bowed down to everything. My head was bleeding, my forehead was bleeding, bowing to everything and every idol and every image. And he said, I found no peace. He said, I'd find a little peace and then it would go. He said, it was only when I turned within that I started to find true peace. Only when I saw internally what is the reality of my own being. And this is the secret that India is here to give. But it can be found in any path, in any religion, just like Thakur is a living testament to. As I said, once you get into that heart center, everything changes. So why are there saints in every religion? Because they did it. They did it through their own path. Because they were pure of heart, and they surrendered to these understandings of their own path, because they're in every religion. But they're hard to find sometimes. Beauty of Vedanta is pretty openly stated. So you can take Vedanta and cross-pollinate with any religion and gain a greater benefit from whatever practice that you have. And this is something I think a lot of people find. And so that's why I love Thakur, is that we have on the altar here Christ, we have Buddha, we have, it's not because we're fickle, or we're just playing it easy because we want to make everybody happy. It's because every part of these beings are a beautiful expression, a separate expression of this divine principle. It's like a flute with all these notes. You can play this beautiful melody with all these notes. If you have one note, it's a little monotonous. So this is what Thakur also said. So how do we do this? What are some practical things? Now, these are the lofty ideas, right, from Vedanta. But when you turn on the news, or you look at your phone, or you talk to your family, and some crisis is happening, and your business is taking a hit, or your family's barred from coming into America, or whatever's happening these days, I've heard a lot of these things, my own self. I'm hearing from a lot of people that have experienced exactly that, or deported. Some people that had family members deported. It was heartbreaking. So what do you do? What do you do? So this is some, we go to the great ones and find what they say. And what's beautiful is it follows exactly the principles that were laid out by the Vedas. And it's for different levels of understanding, different levels of being, and accessible to all. Here's one from Ananda Moima, or actually from Amaji. Sorry, this is Amaji. And I thought it was really simple and sweet because she speaks to every man, right? She's very simple in her devotional approach to life. I don't know if you all got hugs from Ma. I think I got 3 hugs from Ma. She's really sweet. It's a kind Lord. And she says, just give your mind to God. Take refuge in Him, and you won't lack anything in life. It will be given whatever you need. Your problems will be solved in some way or other. So this sounds a little bit simplistic, right? But think about what the principle is. So we try to solve our own problems with our own egos and with our own force. And a lot of times, because we're trying to get what we want, we don't necessarily think about what other people are needing too. And so we might run right over the back of somebody trying to get what we need, and we didn't even know it. We might have hurt somebody terribly just because we're in a panic to get something, or because we had this desire or another. And the total law of energy works, and what is the total thing that happened? It's like a mathematical computer, right? So all of the different ingredients are calculated into this thing. So if we unknowingly hurt some people, it was because of a lack of understanding. So we need to be understood, learn these things. So trust me, we will get in a situation where we can learn how we hurt somebody else in this life or some other life, if you're believing in the reincarnation. So this is really, when Ma says to surrender, it's actually a brilliant thing to say, because then what you do is you give away what? Your ego control, and you go within. And you for the first turn within instead of trying to turn it out and try to solve all your problems. And then what happens is that there's a tremendous flow of resources that are turning up out of nowhere. And I'm sure all of you have had experiences like this. Whenever you've really surrendered and you said, okay, Lord, I cannot handle this. I surrender to you. And whatever how that is to you guys, whatever way that is. And all of a sudden something comes, you would never expect that this is the way that the problem will be solved. It comes out of nowhere. It comes out of some place you never even knew about. This is the dynamics of these principles that are going on. And so again, it's Vedanta, it's the Vedas. This is from Ramana Maharshi. We'll take this from different points of view because there's different ways that people are, right? I was beautifully in Arunachal this last month. For the most part, I was there. For 10 days, I was living right by the mountain with a view of the mountain every day out of my window. It was actually amazing and a little bit intense in life, because the mountain is considered to be Shiva, and Shiva kind of just, you end up with losing parts of your own self to Shiva. So this is what Ramana Maharshi says: sadhana is easy for the aspirant who is endowed with noble desires. Calmness is the basis of spiritual progress. Plunge the purified mind into the heart, then the work is over. This is the essence of all spiritual discipline. Imagine, this is the embodiment of wisdom, right? Of Sri Ramana Maharshi talking about the heart and going into the heart and surrendering to the heart. All work is over. This is the essence of spiritual discipline. Kind of unexpected from somebody like this. So Sri Ramana Maharshi says the same thing. This surrender and reaching the heart is the essence of all spiritual strivings. This is from Lahiri Mahashai, amazing, amazing teacher. This is the guru of Yogananda's guru, who brought Kriya Yoga to the West, to the world actually. And he said, do not lament if you see no lights or images in meditation. Go deep into the perception of bliss. There you will find the actual presence of God. Seek not a part, but a whole. And this is, he's saying exactly the same thing. Sometimes in our exuberance to have a spiritual experience in meditation, we become very aggressive and outward, looking for some light or some vision or some visceral acknowledgement from our efforts. And that very aggressiveness blocks any possible expression or experience of a deeper, finer experience of energies. So what he says is to go and surrender again. How do you find bliss? To surrender into that presence and feel the bliss instead of trying to accomplish this with a willpower. Again, surrender. It's saying the same thing in so many different ways. This is Anandamaya. Now we're in with Anandamaya. Only when spent in the effort to know who am I has it been used well. Only when life is spent to know who am I has it been used well. You are yourself the self-evident Atma, seeking and finding it's all in you. So this is kind of, we have to think about what she's saying here and how does that fit into the surrender and how does that fit into this idea that is underlying what we're talking about. The idea of self-inquiry is a very deep and profound one. And it's generally what they consider the ultimate point of spiritual discipline. Because all the other parts of discipline bring your mind to one point, bring you to one focus of your ishta, of the being, the lovable of your heart, the adoration of your being, or of some principle that is deeply striking your soul. But at some point, again, as Swami Vivekananda said, you have to turn within, into the deep self, into that stillness, and surrender to it. And so when they talk about who am I, they are saying that, and Sri Ramana will give a much clearer description, teaching of this, is that the first sense of separation from that divinity is the thought of I, that individual I. Who is that I? And so when she says, who am I? It's the way of, it's the way of the spiritual practice to go into that question of who am I? Find out who that I is. And in that question, once you find and just rest with who is this I? Who am I? And if you have a thought come up, who had that thought? If some struggle comes up, who's having the struggle? Always turning back to that I. And this is vichara, which is kind of a beautiful path, but it is one that's probably not for everyone. It's not really suitable unless it's a natural thing for you. So if you go through this other paths that you were taking, eventually you'll get to that point where there'll be only one pointed awareness, and then it's easier to do this. But it is something that we wanted to mention because it's so beautiful, and it really gives the final result of peace forever. This is what Sri Ramana, of course, if you want to talk about vichara, you really need to listen to him. He's the supreme master on all that. Moksha liberation is to know that you were not born. Be still and know that I am God. To be still is not to think. Know and not think is the word. So again, when all thought stops and you are in that I center and you go beyond even that I, first that I, you start to examine it. And then what does it rest on? Is there anything that rests in this I? And what Ramana says is that thoughts are that I. When there are no thoughts, the I has no existence. It doesn't have anything to stand on. But these are, again, as I said, Vedanta has a wide range of teachings. We have to give them all, but each one isn't suited for every devotee. Each one isn't suited for every aspirant. Find the one that calls your heart naturally. If it's surrender to one of the beautiful beings, a Christ or a Krishna or Buddha or something like that, or just universal love, or whatever your conception is, that's wonderful. If these things seem to reach to you, then they're there too. They're there too. Like I said, and even if you don't believe in any divinity, you're an atheist. There's a part of Vedanta who has an atheistic scriptures that assume that you're an atheist. It's amazing. Every possible point of view seems to be included in scriptures throughout the Vedas, the Upanishads, and these beautiful, amazing thoughts. They have such brilliance that came out of India and are reposited in India. This is another one that's beautiful. Forget the past, for it is gone from your domain. Forget the future, for it is beyond your reach. Control the present. Live supremely well now. It will whitewash the dark past and compel the future to be bright. This is the way of the wise, and this is Paramahansa Yogananda. Again, exactly saying exactly the same thing as you don't let the mind go through all of these fears and the future and the past, and regrets and this and that and the other thing. Live in the present moment. That's where the I is. That's where the supreme awareness is. This is beautiful, of course. We go right to Ramana. Think I, and hold to that one thought alone to the exclusion of all others. That's what it gets to. And again, this isn't for everyone. This is just because it's in the Vedas. We have to give it out there. I know Swami Sarvapriyanandaji is really focused on that part of the Vedas, but the Vedas are very vast. So, and not everyone is able to ready to dissect their own their own self yet. This is beautiful. This is Ramana. True surrender is love of God for the sake of love and nothing else, not even for the sake of liberation. In other words, complete effacement of the ego is necessary to conquer destiny, whether you achieve this effacement through self-inquiry or through bhakti marga. That's exactly what we were saying. Bhakti marga is exactly what we're talking about, this beautiful dualistic relationship with a being that seems to strike your inner soul as the most beautiful expression of divinity for you. And your devotion to that, and returning to that at every moment when you need it. That's bhakti marga. Deeper and deeper and deeper into that one divinity. And self-inquiry is what the other part we were talking about. So. Truth is also another name for us. For what is death? To give up the body. Our real nature is to be out of the body. Ramana. Of course, right? And so that's basically, and since I came from Arunachala for last month, you forgive me for being a little influenced by Ramana, right? Arunachala is a very powerful energy, and it definitely does take you out of yourself, where there's really not, you're not really doing anything yourself. You're just an observer of all of this incredible stuff going on around you, and you're just wondering yourself what's going to happen next. So that's what we wanted to give. There's a real problem with people in pain and distress in this world right now, and there's a real good reason for us to reach out, because I think if you studied anything from the Eastern, and a lot of you have studied tremendous and more than I have, tremendous amount of wisdom, there's a need for understanding that hasn't been this dire perhaps for some decades. And we really need to reach out with our hearts and our actions and our ability to comfort, because there's a lot of suffering going on. Even just prayer for the world and its dire needs. Hopefully that this will be a short cycle and things will start to come around again to a more unified and kind society and kind world again. And so you guys travel a lot, I do, and you just go to the different parts of the world and see what people are thinking right now. It's quite an interesting exercise in finding out where everybody is. So we've got to be a shining example here in America if we can. So thank you all for coming. We so appreciate it. What we can do now is we'll do a short meditation, and we can have some more music since we have plenty of time. I want to keep this short. You guys don't mind singing for us a little bit afterwards?
We do more.
Well, both of you can maybe. Let's do a short meditation, and then both of you can sing. We have plenty of time. I just wanted to keep the talk short because that's all there is to say. Right? Might say more. So we'll do a short meditation. Let's do that meditation. Maybe we'll just do Ramakrishna Sharanam, and then you guys can sing. Does that sound like a deal? Okay. So the idea that I think that really helps us mostly is find a way to separate who we are from, first of all, anything that is causing us pain, or grief, or misery. How do you create that separation? It's really a beautiful practice to create separation from everything in the world, from and find out who you are. This idea of, who am I? What is this? What is my awareness? Where does it come from? Is it dependent on anything? Does it rest on anything? If you just go into your own awareness, you're aware that you're aware. It's not a mystery. It's not that mysterious. You are aware of your awareness. So separating that awareness from everything else, your thoughts, your emotions, the fears, and all the things, is a really wonderful practice. And there's a beautiful practice that was given. I practiced it for 50 some odd years, but Swami Sarvapriyanandaji has given it in his talks, and has given it again most recently. And it's the Soham meditation. Soham, I am he, Soham, Hamsa, is a beautiful technique for meditation because it's tied to the breath. And the breath is very, very easy to connect with, right? We know it, we're aware of it, it's real to us. So meditating on the breath is an ancient way of being able to create beautiful connections and letting the mind be at a place of peace and quietude. And so what we're going to do is we're going to follow a few simple principles of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which is pranayama and pratyahara and dhyana dhyana samadhi. We're going to just breathe a little bit. Breath is connected to the prana, which is the energy of the body. And if you are able to breathe deeply and control the breath, you're able to actually eventually connect that to the prana that's actually controlling the breath itself. So by the breath, you're kind of circuitously controlling prana. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through the nose with a double inhalation like this. And at the same time, we're going to tense the whole body. And we're going to just hold it for a short while. We're going to do an 8-8-8 count on these because some of us can't do longer than an 8. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 8, hold it, and then hold the tension and the breath for a count of 8. And then exhale, a double exhalation through the mouth. And you should hear it. Hear the inhalation and exhalation, otherwise it's not really deep. And you really purify the lungs, you oxygenate the body, but you refresh the whole body with prana. And you release all the negative tensions that are in the body and the mind this way too, through the prana. So it's a really deep practice. And then once you've done this 3 times, then you just let the body out, the breath out. Just let it stay out. And just observe it like you're seeing somebody else's breath. And when it's of its own accord comes in, you breathe in, the body of its own breathes in, you're observing it. You mentally chant so, this way. And then when the body of its own accord breathes out, hum. So, hum. So, hum. And just watch it. And if your mind is distracted, bring it back to the breath. And it's a beautiful exercise to learn this detachment and this observation. And you can take this principle to all the other things that are bugging you and things that you need some distance from. And you can practice this and then take a look back and say, who's the one observing that is experiencing this craziness, this fear or this whatever. I had a bunch of cockroaches that showed up in our house when I came back, which wasn't a big freak out to me, but you just have to figure it out that they got to live with you, or they can't live with you, honestly. But you have to figure out a way to deal with it. So this is even for situations like that. It's a wonderful thing that you can just bring yourself to a point of calmness, and then things are a little more easy to deal with. So let's try this. Remember, it's inhalation double with the nose. You're tensing the whole body. Then for a count of 8, and then holding it for a count of 8, and exhaling for a count of 8. We're going to do that 3 times. And then I'll just let you guys practice the so-hum meditation, okay? So let's try this. So let's try the inhale. Hold, let's hear that. Exhale. Release all the tension. Inhale again. Hold that tension. Hold it. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Tense. Hold it. Exhale. Just let the breath stay out. And when of its own accord it comes in, mentally chant so. And when it goes out, hum. So hum. I am he. So shall we do a quick Krishna, and then I'll let you guys do some more checking. Plenty of time today. I'll try to keep it short. And papers everywhere. Okay, so we'll just do a quick Krishna. Yeah, I want to pass out all the good stuff. We actually were chanting this in Arunachala too, one of the retreats in the Bala this week. Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Prabhu, Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Sharanam Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Sharanam Jai Jai Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Prabhu Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Sharanagaituham, 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 Jai Jai Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Prabhu Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo 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 Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Namo Jai Jai Ram Krishna Sharanam, Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Prabhu Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ram Krishna Jaya Jaya Ram Krishna, 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 Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Prabhu, Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Sharanye Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Sharanye Jai Jai Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Prabhu Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Sharanagaisoham, 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 Vande. Sharanagaisoham, 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 Vande. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Prabhu Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo 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 Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Namo Jai Jai Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye Prabhu, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanye. Ram Krishna Jaya Jaya 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 Ram Ram Krishna Jaya Jaya Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam. Please, more.
I got to go there actually.
You do.
Yeah.
But I was going to work with the year.
I have.
When I was ready.
I got to go to.
It's understandable. Thank you so much. We so appreciate you. What you did. I know we were greedy today to take 3 songs from you.
People at home, guests.
Yeah. We understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell your wife thank you for loaning you to us. Did you want to say one? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay. We have some people at home. Okay. Well, let me
not too ready today.
let me just say too that to close off for the people at home. So we have Swami Atmavidyanandaji coming on Saturday at 4 p.m. and he's going to start his class. It's going to be very, very wonderful. I know we got some. We're always excited to have Swami Atmavidyanandaji, and he's able to come on the weekends now, which is. Could you like order this? So we're so happy to have him coming on the weekends because I know a lot of you guys can't make it on Wednesday when he's here. So for all of you guys, if you guys at home, wait 1 second, we'll try to make sure that everybody hears this. For all of you at home, please remember it's Saturday, 4 p.m. Swami Atmavidyanandaji, and I don't know if Badur is able to come and sing on Saturday, but hopefully if so, then we're very happy to have him here as well, and it's possible. So maybe we'll have Badurji here on Saturday the 6th.
I'll try for sure.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for being online, and we look forward to seeing you when Swamiji is here. Thank you all. That is your Krishna.